Just ahead, China warns Kim Jong-un, don't mess with the U.S. after President Trump turns up the heat and issues his own warning about the North Korea, quote, menace. Tonight, President Trump says he believes China's leader wants to do the right thing and act to defuse the North Korea nuclear threat. Mr. Trump speaking after a phone conversation with President Xi that apparently spurred China to issue a new warning to Kim Jong-un's regime. Brian Todd is looking into all of this for us. Brian, the president is pressuring China to confront what he calls the North Korea menace.
He is leaning heavily on China. Wolf, tonight, President Trump is promising to send a strong message to North Korea, militarily, economically. He says Kim Jong-un is doing the wrong thing, and he is again signaling China that they've got to do more to get Kim to halt his nuclear program. The Chinese have rarely, if ever, been under as much pressure to rein in their aggressive neighbor. Tonight, a high-stakes game of chicken between President Trump and Kim Jong-un has China squarely in the middle, with an American aircraft carrier and other warships steaming toward the Korean peninsula.
We are sending an armada, very powerful.
With concerns that North Korea may soon conduct a sixth nuclear weapons test, possibly around the birthday of Kim's grandfather this weekend, Mr. Trump speaks with his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, on the phone, and later tweets that the call was about, quote, the menace of North Korea. The Chinese later issue a statement calling for a peaceful resolution.
I think China is under tremendous pressure. They need to move forward, that the Trump administration indicated. They don't want to have a business as usual. We don't want to have a lengthy inaction by China.
Today, President Trump talked about how he leaned on Xi to rein in Kim Jong-un when he met the Chinese leader face to face.
I think he wants to help us with North Korea. We talk trade, we talk a lot of things, and I said the way you're going to make a good trade deal is to help us with North Korea. Otherwise, we're just going to go it alone.
Today, the Global Times, a state-run Chinese newspaper, ran an editorial saying, quote, if the North makes another provocative move this month, the Chinese society will be willing to see severe restrictive measures, such as restricting oil imports to the North. Analysts say the Global Times likely would not have printed that without at least tacit approval from Chinese leaders. If China were to reduce oil exports to North Korea, how much would it hurt the North?
I think that it would hurt the North Korean economy. I think they use versions of it for factories, for heating purposes and that would impact the North Korean economy.
Despite China's economic leverage over Kim, would the brash young leader care if Beijing tries to Bigfoot him?
He has to be concerned if China actually implements strong measures. China is responsible for 90% of North Korea's economic engagement with the outside world. If Beijing were to take steps, it could significantly put pressure on the regime, but they've always failed to do that so far.
Experts say China will likely continue to feel pressure from the Trump administration to clamp down on Kim, but that Beijing probably won't pressure North Korea to completely shut down its nuclear program. They say China would rather have a nuclear-armed North Korea than see Kim's regime collapse and have millions of refugees and possibly U.S. and South Korean troops on its border. Wolf?
Brian, there seem to be some conflicting messages from the Trump team tonight on that deployment of the U.S. aircraft carrier Vincent, the strike force that's moving towards the Korean peninsula. Is that right?
That's right, Wolf. Just a short time ago, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said he would not read too much into the deployment of the Vincent, that the carrier group is, quote, routinely in the Pacific, and there's no particular objective in its current course toward the Korean peninsula. But President Trump specifically said he is, quote, sending an armada in the context of what North Korea has been doing lately, and a U.S. defense official has told CNN the movement of the Vincent is in response to North Korea's recent provocations. The Trump team maybe not coordinating that messaging so well.
All right, Brian, thank you. Brian Todd reporting. That's it for me. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room.